Institute of Molecular Sciences in Okazaki. Professor Omori is one of the leading experts in the world on cold atoms, quantum computing. And the title of his talk is Ultra-Fast Quantum Simulator with Attosecond Precision at Ultra-Cold Temperatures. Professor Omori, please.
So hello, thank you. So good afternoon. This is Kenji Omori, and we talk about the new quantum simulator referred to as an ultra-fast quantum simulator. So what is a quantum simulator? So it's well known that it's extremely difficult to solve many-body programs with, even with the fastest supercomputer. So instead, why don't you experimentally simulate with an artificial many-body system, such as an artificial crystal of ultra-cold atoms? So this is the concept of quantum simulator as originally proposed by Feynman in 1982. So, and we expect that the quantum simulator would contribute to the development of new complex materials and drug design. So the quantum simulator is one of the killer contents of quantum technology policy in various countries, including this EU flagship program, where €1 billion will be invested for 10 years. Here we should know that these targets of quantum simulators are all strongly correlated systems. So then the first question is how to generate an artificial strongly correlated system. The most straightforward way should be using particles whose forces could reach as far as possible. So from this point of view, a Rydberg atom is one of the most promising candidates. Then here comes our new strategy. And first, I will talk about our 3 core competencies. And this is the first one, how we make a strongly correlated Rydberg crystal. So far, the Rydberg simulators have been developed with narrowband continuous wave lasers. So its performance is limited by the effect so-called Rydberg blockade, where there can be only one Rydberg excitation in a 10 micron diameter sphere. So here we have replaced this narrowband CW laser by a broadband ultrafast laser to remove the Rydberg blockade, and have realized more than 400 Rydberg excitation in the same volume. So it's strongly correlated. The second core competence is coherent control with attosecond precision. And this is the performance of attosecond phase modulator, a highly stabilized optical interferometer we have developed. And here we measure an interferogram of 2 UV femtosecond laser pulses, whose period is only 48 attoseconds. The least square fittings of these 8 periods with sine functions gives an error of the period to be only 706 zeptoseconds. So zepto is one better than attosecond. So the temporal evolution of the wave function of matter can be observed and controlled with this precision with our attosecond phase modulator. This is second core competence. And this is the third core competence, an ultra-cold atomic crystal at nanokelvin temperatures, where we make a Bose-Einstein condensate at 50 nanokelvin loaded into an optical lattice to make a crystal of rubidium atoms whose nearest neighbor distance is 532 nanometer. So these 3 core competencies lead to a completely new quantum simulator, which we call an ultra-fast quantum simulator that can simulate many-body electrons with electrons itself. So this is completely different from conventional quantum simulators, where neutral atoms are used to mimic electrons. So we have published related patents with Hamamatsu Photonics. And this ultra-fast quantum simulator was covered by the white paper issued by Ministry of Economy, Trade, and Industry of Japan, and also covered by more than 40 news outlets worldwide recently. For instance, it is highlighted by NIST Quantum Technology homepage as a path breaking platform for quantum simulation. And actually, this was the only one non-US news there. And it is also highlighted by a quantum innovation strategy issued by the Cabinet Office of Japan this year, among 4 key technologies, including gate-based quantum computers with superconducting qubits, quantum software, quantum annealing, and quantum simulation with cold atoms. And here is an ultra-fast quantum simulator highlighted there. Next, I show you a couple of ongoing progress of our ultra-fast quantum simulator. First, I will talk about the performance test of its hardware and interface. So here are the use cases of the ultra-fast quantum simulator: ultra-fast spin dynamics, electron dynamics simulated with electrons itself, many-body electrons in magnetic fields, discovery of unknown quantum phenomena, and applications to quantum computing. First, I will talk about the simulations of spin dynamics and electron dynamics simulated with electrons itself. So we have various modes of operation of the ultra-fast quantum simulator, where by selecting the Rydberg level, we can implement van der Waals interaction, dipole interaction at even metal-like states, where Rydberg electron orbitals are spatially overlapped between neighboring atoms in a crystal, like in a metal solid. I will come back to this metal-like state in the next slides. In these examples, the Rydberg levels are appropriately selected to implement Ising model, long-range Ising model, and simulation of many-body electrons with electrons itself. And each of them, we have succeeded in implementing attosecond interferometry of Rydberg electrons with a period of only 1 femtosecond. And this is the readout interface of ultra-fast quantum simulators working very nicely. Next, I will talk about discovery of unknown quantum phenomena, particularly about the metal-like state that we call a Rydberg metal, which I've just mentioned in the previous slide. We have recently demonstrated this metal-like quantum gas, or Rydberg metal, where Rydberg electrons orbitals are spatially overlapped between neighboring atoms by shining an ultra-fast laser onto our ultra-fast quantum simulator. So this is a new phase of matter, where an electron is delocalized across the gas crystal. And quantum classical boundary could be explored by investigating this delocalized electron. And many-body electrons are simulated with Coulomb interaction, as just like in a real solid. And for this issue 3, you need a model Hamiltonian. And so that 2 great theorists, Masahiro Ehara at IMS, quantum chemist, and Dieter Jaksch at Oxford, quantum physicist, are tightly collaborating on this Hamiltonian modeling. And this is a quantum chemistry calculation for the crystal of lithium atoms, which are similar to rubidium atom that we are using in experiments. In this lithium-9 crystal, as the electron orbitals become overlapped between neighboring atoms, the electron becomes delocalized over the crystal and looks like a metal solid. And next, I will talk about our next generation apparatus beyond an optical lattice. And here we tightly collaborate with Hamamatsu Photonics, a world-leading company in Japan, and develop an arbitrary trap arrays with a spatial light modulator. Here you see that we can make arbitrary arrays such as Kagome lattice and honeycomb lattices, and succeeded in making our world's smallest arbitrary trap arrays where the nearest neighbor distance is only 1 micron. Now we are elaborating further down to even sub-micron scales with Hamamatsu Photonics. And also succeeded in single site addressing in this world's smallest arbitrary trap arrays. As you see here, that each site can be addressed and manipulated with another laser spot. And we apply related patents with Hamamatsu photonics. And in each of these arbitrary traps, we can trap a single atom, as you can clearly see here. In the real-time experiments, actually, in each trap, a single atom is trapped with a 50% probability randomly. So you need to move each single atom, atom by atom, to make an atom array that you want. So these are examples. Here we make a 2x4 array, and there we make a checkerboard arrays by atom assembly. So we can do so from any different initial configuration, as you can see here. So these results are obtained in remote experiment that can be applied to a future cloud service. As you can see in this movie, each of these traps can be moved with this precision. So you see that we can really make an arbitrary atom array on this spatial scale. We are financially supported by a mixed quantum technology flagship program, QLEAP, JSP's Kakenhi specially promoted research, which is supposed to be the most prestigious scientific grant in Japan, and Alexander von Humboldt Foundation and Heidelberg University. Finally, this is a team. And this is the experimental sub-team that I am chairing. And all the experiments are performed at IMS in Okazaki, here in Japan. We have strong theory sub-teams at IMS, Tokyo Tech, and Strasbourg, Oxford, and Innsbruck. And finally, we are delighted to collaborate very tightly with Hamamatsu Photonics, which is, as I told you, a world-leading photonics company. So that's it, and thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Omori.